Fred Hammond is a famous gospel singer, bass guitarist, producer, and songwriter. He has become a defining figure in modern gospel music thanks to his soulful voice and innovative contributions to fusing gospel with R&B, jazz, and hip-hop. Hammond has always inspired listeners with his unique musical style and deeply moving lyrics based in faith and hope. His career spanning over 4 decades shows not only his artistic talent, but also his dedication to a ministry that promotes spiritual growth. Fred Hammond was born on December 27, 1960, in Detroit, Michigan, a city known for its rich musical history. As a child, Hammond was surrounded by music, which helped him develop his talent. Hearing church music early on inspired him to join the choir at his church, where he improved his singing and playing instruments, especially as a bass guitarist. These formative years were important for Hammond's later work because they gave him a love of gospel music and a strong faith that would define his life and career. Hammond's first musical love was the bass guitar, which is often the rhythmic backbone of a song. He practiced hard to get good at the complex rhythms and soulful grooves that would later define his work. Define his sound playing bass in church helped Hammond learn how to work with singers and make a full, harmonious sound. As he played in church services, he learned to listen to the flow of worship and change his playing to meet the spiritual needs of the moment. This skill would later become a cornerstone of his live performances, where he often creates a space for worship that feels both intimate and powerful. His vocal skills also grew in the church. Fred Hammond's journey in gospel music took off when he joined the choir. He learned how to sing in harmony, control his pitch, and show emotion through his voice. The church gave him a safe place to explore his vocal range and style, surrounded by people who supported his growth. Singing in the choir also taught him about how individual talent is woven together to make something greater than the sum of its parts. At a time when gospel music was mostly traditional, commissioned a groundbreaking gospel ensemble that would play a key role in shaping the genre during the 1980s and 1990s. Commissioned was instrumental in introducing contemporary sounds by fusing gospel with R&B, jazz, and funk influences. Hammond's work with Commission not only helped to modernize gospel music, but also set the stage for his future solo career, giving him a chance to explore deep themes of faith. Through his unique musical voice, Commissioned emerged as a bold voice in gospel music, challenging norms and bringing a fresh perspective to the genre. The group's sound resonated with a younger generation of gospel listeners who were drawn to the fusion of urban musical styles with deeply spiritual lyrics. Commissioned was known for blending soulful vocals with innovative arrangements, creating a sound that appealed to both traditional gospel fans and those who liked contemporary R&B. Hammond's skills as a bassist and vocalist gave the group's sound more depth, making it easier for them to reach a wide range of people. But he was also a creative force in Commissioned as a songwriter and arranger. He helped shape the group's unique sound and message. His songwriting in Commissioned was marked by themes of struggle, hope, and unwavering faith, and listeners saw themselves in the songs. Songs like Running Back to You and Ordinary Just Won't Do dealt with themes of personal redemption. One of Fred Hammond's best qualities in Commissioned was being able to express deep spiritual ideas in simple, heartfelt lyrics. This made an emotional connection that went beyond typical gospel messages. Hammond became known as a voice of clarity and depth in gospel music after leaving Commissioned in the mid-1990s and starting a solo career that would solidify his status as a gospel music legend, building on the foundation he laid with Commissioned. Commissioned Hammond kept pushing the boundaries of gospel music by combining modern sounds with deeply spiritual lyrics that spoke to a wide range of listeners. His solo albums, such as Pages of Life Chapters WAMU 1998, Purpose by Design 2000, and Love Unstoppable 2009, became important landmarks in the genre, each showing off his unique musical style and dedication to spreading messages of faith, resilience, and divine purpose. Was a turning point in Hammond's solo career. It was both a studio recording and a live performance, letting him mix polished production with the raw energy of worship. By using this format, he was able to capture the passion and communal experience of live worship, making an album that felt both personal and grand. Pages of Life was one of the most popular gospel albums of its time. Tracks like Let the Praise Begin and We're Blessed became famous in church music because of their deep lyrics, expressive vocal arrangements, and Hammond's powerful playing. Pages of Life was a big hit for Hammond. It had themes of thanksgiving, divine protection, and praise even in hard times. The live recordings on the album made fans feel like they were part of the worship experience, which became a hallmark of Hammond's music. He became famous as a leading figure in gospel music and gained devoted fans who weren't just traditional gospel listeners. In 2000, Hammond released Purpose by Design, an album that further established his unique style and message. Pages of Life showed people how he could combine studio and live elements. Purpose by Design was centered on deep, reflective themes related to divine purpose and self-discovery. Hammond's album lyrics encourage listeners to seek God's direction and find their own purpose, which will resonate with people looking for spiritual fulfillment and meaning. Songs like Give Maine a Clean Heart and When You Praise show that Hammond sees faith as an ongoing journey full of personal challenges but guided by God. It was clear that Hammond was still having a big impact on gospel music, and his latest album, Love Unstoppable, showed how he could change his sound while staying true to his message of hope, love, and divine faithfulness. The album had a mix of modern sounds and traditional gospel elements, showing how versatile Hammond was as an artist and how dedicated he was to reaching people from all walks of life. Love Unstoppable was known for its positive themes that focused on the idea of God's unending love and how it can help us through hard times. Songs like They That Wait, which was written with fellow gospel artist John, stress the importance of being patient and trusting in God's timing. These songs really hit home with people who are going through their own problems. Best Thing That Ever Happened was about Hammond's personal journey and faith's message of thanks and praise for God's presence in his life. Unstoppable was a celebration of faith's power to inspire and sustain is one of Hammond's most beloved albums. Each of these albums not only added to his personal legacy, but also had a lasting effect on gospel music. Hammond's way of combining gospel with modern genres made gospel music more popular and available to a new generation of listeners. Hammond's willingness to talk about real-life struggles in his lyrics made his music deeply connect with people who were going through similar things, making him a hero. Hammond is not only a musician but also an inspiration. Unlike many artists who rely heavily on digital production, Hammond has always included live instrumentation in his albums. This is because he is a bass guitarist and wants his music to sound real. Live instruments give Hammond's music a sense of immediacy and realism, letting listeners experience the depth and richness of each track. Live bass, drums, keyboards, and horns give his songs a rich, layered sound, and Hammond's use of them sets a high bar for musical excellence in the gospel genre. Using live recordings and real-time performances, along with a variety of instruments, gives Hammond's music a sense of energy and authenticity that makes worship feel vivacious and real. This is something that is hard to capture in studio-only records. The dynamic feel of Hammond's music makes listeners feel like they are part of a live worship session instead of just listening to a recording. By using this method, Hammond bridges the gap between the recording studio and the church, letting his music reach people wherever they are. This dynamic worship experience has become a hallmark of Hammond's music, making it popular in church settings and community gatherings. His focus on live instrumentation and real worship fits with his mission to use music as a way of ministry by writing songs that help people connect spiritually and think about their lives. The Stellar Awards, which have been given since 1984, are one of the highest honors in gospel music. African American artists for their contributions to the genre. During his career, Hammond has won several Stellar Awards, including ones for his work as a singer, producer, and songwriter. His wins and nominations for the Stellar Awards show how much he has influenced gospel music and how dedicated he is to making albums with songs that inspire and uplift, like Pages of Life Chapters 1 and 2. Two and Purpose by Design won Hammond a number of Stellar Awards for his groundbreaking mixing of modern sounds with traditional gospel parts. These awards were in addition to the Stellar Awards Fred. Congratulations to Hammond on winning the Dove Award, which is a prestigious honor in the Christian music industry and is given by the Gospel Music Association GMA. The Dove Awards honor artists from all types of Christian music, such as gospel, contemporary Christian, and worship music. Hammond's win shows how popular he is across genres and how his music has universal messages. Not just traditional gospel music fans, Fred Hammond's Grammy Award nomination shows that he is a pioneering figure in gospel music with wide appeal. The Grammys are one of the most prestigious music awards in the world, honoring excellence in all genres. Even though gospel is usually seen as a niche genre within the Grammy framework, Hammond's nomination shows that he can transcend genres, traditional boundaries, and reach listeners across musical landscapes. Hammond's Grammy nomination acknowledged not only his musical skill but also his role in modernizing gospel music by adding modern sounds while keeping the spiritual depth of the music. This puts him close to some of the world's most respected musicians, recognizing his contributions to gospel music as part of the larger music industry. The Grammy nomination brought more attention to his work, letting people who don't normally listen to gospel music discover his artistry and message. When Fred Hammond started his record label Face to Face Productions, it was a big turning point in his career. With Face to Face Production, Hammond developed a way for him to bring his spiritual and artistic visions to life without the restrictions that come with major labels. Having already had success with the group he was hired to work with, Hammond was ready to take his career in a new direction. He had full control over all of his musical projects. This freedom let him make music that showed his deep faith and his desire to give his listeners real worship experiences. Face-to-Face Productions gave Hammond the freedom to push the limits of gospel music, trying out new sounds and formats that would make gospel music more accessible to modern audiences was important to Hammond. He mixed R&B, jazz, and hip-hop into gospel music to reach a wide audience while keeping the message of worship and devotion at the heart of his work. Starting his own label was a big step forward in his career, setting the stage for the formation of Radical for Christ and allowing Hammond to make a lasting impact. Along with starting Face-to-Face Productions, Hammond put together the group Radical for Christ, which was made up of talented musicians and singers who wanted to make worship music that was both powerful and relevant to modern audiences. Radical for Christ became famous for its energetic, heartfelt performances and focus on worship as a group experience. The songs focused on praise, thanksgiving, and relying on God, which connected with people who wanted to get more spiritually involved in their worship. Under Hammond's direction, Face-to-Face Productions and Radical for Christ helped change the genre of gospel music, making it more open and innovative. Hammond's choice to emphasize live instrumentation and collaboration within Radical for Christ gave the group's music an organic, dynamic feel. Focusing on authentic, passionate worship music, Radical for Christ inspired a generation of worship leaders and musicians to strive for excellence in their craft while staying rooted in their faith. One of Fred Hammond's most famous songs, No Weapon, is a powerful statement of faith and strength in the face of life's challenges. The lyrics are based on Isaiah 54:17, which says, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper." This verse emphasizes how safe God's presence is, giving believers comfort during hard times. No weapon has become a source of comfort for many, serving as a reminder of God's promises and his power to protect his followers from harm. Another of Hammond's famous works, We're Blessed, has become a go-to song for celebrating God's provision and favor. Based on Deuteronomy 28:3-6, "Blessed in the city, we're blessed in the field," is a joyful declaration of God's blessings in all areas of life. This track captures the spirit of gratitude and recognizing God's hand in both the big and small moments of life. Let the Praise Begin is a call to worship that encourages people to enter a space of praise and surrender, as the title suggests. With its upbeat beats, catchy lyrics, and uplifting melody, Let the Praise Begin is a popular song in many churches, especially as an opening song to set the mood for a worship service. Songs like No Weapon, We're Blessed, Let the Praise Begin, and others have become worship anthems that people all over the world sing. Hammond's music is used in services across all religions and cultures because it brings people together through shared messages of faith, protection, and gratitude. Churches from all over the world include his music in their services because they know it can inspire hope and encourage spiritual reflection. His songs reach believers all over the world, providing comfort and joy. Even though Fred Hammond has had a lot of success with his music, his life has not been easy. One of the hardest things for him was getting divorced from his wife Kim in 2004. This was especially hard for him because of the personal grief it caused him and the difficulties of going through such a life-changing event in public. As a famous gospel singer, Hammond's life and actions were often looked at, and his separation became a big deal. The divorce was a huge setback that made him think deeply about his life and his faith. The divorce had a big effect on Hammond's emotions, making him deal with loss, disappointment, and even vulnerability. In interviews, he has talked about how hard it was, saying that it was a time when he had to rely on his faith in ways he had never done before. Before the end of his marriage, which was humbling and made him face the challenges of balancing family, career, and personal identity in a way that was both raw and public. Hammond's music has always been about redemption, resilience, and God's love, and this time of reflection gave him a chance to draw on those themes with more depth and sincerity. The divorce also changed how Hammond approached his music. Instead of hiding his pain, he started to include it in his songs. The albums he made after the breakup often had themes of healing, resilience, and hope, giving hope to people going through their own hard times. His willingness to be open about his personal journey struck a chord with audiences, who found comfort in his honesty and could relate to his struggles. By being honest about his pain, Hammond not only healed himself but also became a source of inspiration for others. Healing for others, Hammond's divorce made him a more caring and understanding artist and person. In the years since, he has talked about how it taught him about the depth of God's love and grace, even in the midst of deep pain. Through his music and testimony, Hammond was able to connect with people who were going through similar things and help them find hope and assurance. Being open about his problems in public helped his fans see him not only as a gospel singer but also as a person who deals with pain, doubt, and healing. Fred Hammond's health problems started with his knees. As a very active performer known for his dynamic stage presence, These physical problems had a big effect on his ability to perform and move around freely on stage. The effects were felt deeply by both Hammond and his audience. The pain and discomfort caused by his knee problems were more than just physical, they could have an effect on his emotional and spiritual well-being as well. As Hammond dealt with the stresses of a demanding public career over the years, he had multiple surgeries to fix these problems. However, the recovery process was long and difficult, and the surgeries had a big effect on his body. Despite this, he refused to let his health problems define him or stop his career. He kept performing and making art. Hammond's strong faith in God and his strong desire to keep going even though he was physically limited became an inspiration to many of his fans, who saw in him an example of resilience and strength that didn't come from his own abilities, but from his unwavering trust in God. Fred Hammond has made huge and lasting contributions to gospel music. He has changed the genre by modern sounds mixed with traditional gospel roots create a unique musical style that appeals to people of all ages. His skill at turning personal struggles into faith-filled songs that inspire has made him a beloved figure in the gospel community. Through songs of support and as an artist, worship leader, and religious person, Fred Hammond has helped a huge number of people find strength, hope, and healing in their own lives. He will forever be remembered in the world of gospel music for encouraging new generations to trust in God's power, no matter what problems they face.